Hello everyone, we are from CBALC. So here we are in the Flomic Global Logistic to take an interview on how the logistic manager face the problem in logistics. So here we introduce our interviewer, that is Vikram sir.
So good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Myself Raja. So today we are going to conduct an interview with you. So do you have any own transportation, or you hire another transportation, or you tender the transportation?
No, we don't have our. We have 2 or 3 vehicles of us, but that are used only in Mumbai. That is on pilot basis. We are checking. So actually we started in 2020, but due to the COVID, we have stopped expansion. But currently we are using third party. From the market, we take the vehicles, or we have a contract with some other transporters. We are doing.
So problem faced during loading and unloading.
Yes, we face a lot of problems because we have got unskilled laborers at the port or at the factory or at airports, at the loading and unloading facilities. Being in India right now, not many companies are using the technology or the machineries for unloading and loading. Slowly and steadily, maybe in another 5-6 years, we expect the what do you call as problems facing in handling will lower down.
So what are the materials do you use to handle the shipments, like in the unloading and loading?
Machineries?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we use pallet cranes, hand pallet.
Yes,
Then we use cranes. We use kalmas. We use what do you call head over cranes. These are the things, and typical traditional labor.
And like how do you manage and how you handle the damages?
See, the damages we just first ascertain the root cause. We do the root cause analysis of why it has happened. If it's our mistake, then we will try to convince the customer. If it is done by some other third party, then we try to raise a claim on them. But foremost thing, we always advise our customer to go for an insurance, because anything can happen during the transit.
Yes.
Maybe because of intentional or accidental or due to the nature or anything. So it's better we always advise them to go for the insurance. 90% of our customers have insured the cargoes.
So like, which are the means of transport?
Means of the transport, we use air, we use sea, we use road. Rail, yet to start it from our company. We are trying, but there is a dominance of some companies on the rail movement.
Sir, what if the warehouse is full, and how do you manage the storage if the load is high compared to daily?
Okay, first of all, I know my capacity, the warehouse capacity.
Yes.
Based on that, I instruct my customers before sending the vehicle to my warehouse, send me in a day or two what is the cargo arrival, what is the size, shape, arrival. So I can plan up. If there is a shortage, then I have some other or nearby warehouses. We take it on a daily rental basis.
Yes.
Okay, and then we also check which are the cargo which are lying from a long time and not used, or the customer is not taking the delivery. We try to pressurize them to please take it. In that way, we try to utilize our spaces.
Yes, sir. Sir, according to you.
In fact, what we do is like we only market what space we have. Beyond that, we don't like to market.
Yes.
Okay, Flomic is into contract warehousing. Like once we sign a contract, it's for 5 years.
Yes.
So we know what is the capacity. For example, you have your own cargo, you're going to send me daily so much. Based on that only we check the spaces.
Sir, what do you think most of the damages? What is the reason behind it?
See, as I explained you earlier, we traditionally still have a manpower, labor handling, and they are not skilled.
Yes.
Okay. So main root cause is the handling. Second, then companies always try to save cost on the packing. They use the low quality packing, due to which also the damages can occur. So I will always advise my customers, like my customers or anyone in this industry, I would like to suggest them कि like use a good quality of packing. Because once the damage, to make again the boxes you are going to pay. So make a good quality of packages in the early stages. And since you are going in a bulk, you can have a good deal with them.
So company is not giving any packaging, like good packaging to the customers.
No, we are not into packaging.
So customers need to bring
They have to do it their own.
So okay, so when it comes to logistics, what is the most challenging part for the company?
Logistics in sense where you want to ask.
Like anything.
See, the very first is like the production is not ready. Some companies' productions are not ready.
Yes.
They give it late in the evening.
Yes.
No proper light facility.
Yes.
So in the dark we have to, in the night we have to load the cargo. Then we expect the driver should drive in the night and reach the destination in the next day early morning.
Yes.
So these such types of challenges are there, and we Indians don't like to. It's a plus and minus also, I can say. We don't want to order the time, due to which we are always on just in time. Whereas if you compare it in America or in Europe, they plan up well in the advance. The cargoes are stored at the port for 15 days. So the cargoes are not held back.
So like for example, as you said, when it's delay in manufacturing, if you are going to like receive that product at 6 a.m. in morning and you receive that it at 10, but you have to supply it at 6 p.m. in afternoon, but it's delay in the receiving the product. So for example, you get the product at like 4 hours late for delivering the product as you are third party. So what could be your call if you are like transporting that product at late?
See, whatever the time they give,
Okay.
I have a transit time.
Okay.
I know my driver capacity,
Yes.
the vehicle capacity, Indian roads, everything on all the external forces. I always give them a time. They say, sir, buy another 3 hours or 4 hours extra. So this, if the truck reaches before the time,
Okay.
there's no one going to question you.
Yes.
If it reaches late, there are hundreds of people who will be asking, and you might lose your contract also.
Yes.
So always I guide my customers saying that whenever you are considering a transit time, in the initial stage only you take around a week's time. For example, in the sea, if I am doing it, I always give them a week's time extra in sea. When the cargo is moving under the sea movement. We don't know what can happen because it's a rough sea, can happen at any time. Natural disasters can happen. So why back that time?
Yes.
This is the way I always guide my customers and keep extra buffer time.
So
Not in days, even in hours I tell them.
Yes, sir. Sir, where does the most damage happen in modes of transport? Like you send by road.
See, I told you the first, if your package is not good, right from the unloading at the port and loading on the truck, will start. At any time, see, if the package is from the factory, if the quality is not good, moment the cargo is lifted by a man or a crane or anything, the damage starts from there. If it's a good quality package,
So, do you provide service outside the country or only
outside the country. We only give, our main focus is outside country. Okay. The domestic service is what? It's just a value added service for our customers.
So like, which is the technology do you use to track the delivery?
And third party, see, we it's like our internet tracking system.
So like, what are the average per day shipments?
From Belgavi, if you say it's on an average, we have around 4 or 5 shipments a day. 5 shipments a day, that is for our exports. And when it comes to imports, we have daily 2.
So, do you provide the 4PL service?
So,
No.
no.
So, can I ask
Yeah.
why not 4PL?
No, that is management's call.
Okay.
I cannot question the management.
So like, which is the most challenging moment in supply chain?
Supply chain challenging means I didn't get it. Okay, the most challenging is like if one of the person who does in a supply chain, right from the purchasing of the raw material till the final goods delivered, if any one makes a mistake, that is mostly the mistake is made in the production level. If the production level is not proper, the entire supply chain gets. In between, we also need to consider the Indian conditions, like the driver, the roads, loading, unloading facility, the labors, everything that also have to be considered. So when we are calculating the supply chain time limit, the person needs to calculate and have to have an extra time in buffer. Then only you can fulfill the supply chain. From the day when some company gives a supply chain time, he has to always consider all the external forces. See, we have got festivals. At any given in a week, there is any festival will be there. So that also we have to consider. We need to always consider the hartals, the strikes also coming up. As soon as the election approaches, all the strikes will start coming up. Okay, we have got Indian police, traffic. They will hold the trucks. So all that kind of is all challenging already.
So like, how will you face these political issues, such as strike, traffic, like so many?
We have to win. If you read the insurance clause,
Yes, sir.
they also consider the strike.
Yes, yes.
And then when supply chain contract is there, the company also writes, please do consider the strikes and festivals also.
So,
how did you manage this three-party logistics when there was shutdown, the whole country was shut down because of corona? How did you manage that time?
See, luckily the Indian government has given a permission to move the essential commodity and for exports and imports. Okay, exports they didn't have any restrictions, so cargo was moving. All in all, we have to when the cargo is loaded, we have to provide the documents saying that this cargo is meant for exports. So no one in the road used to have a problem. So we had a permission. Then the factories used to take a legal permission, and then since we are into logistics, we have our own permissions. So we used to give it to our driver. So only thing our people used to not move. There are only few like marketing department used to not go, accounts used to not, HR and not. Only the operation people used to get a permissions from the government, from the police department, like so and so. And they that too also they had some only 25% of the total operation staff. But somehow it's in India, Jugaad. Our team is to be there on it. Oh.
So, as you said, you are into international logistics. What if there is a delay of flight? So, what will
Delay
you
of
do?
flights is beyond anyone's control. So ultimately, it's the flight or the airline is a carrier.
Yeah.
So no one can do anything.
So, but
We have to adapt it.
so if client is like forcing you, like I want my product also. So,
I know, but he also has to consider the delays.
yeah.
Why there was a delay? Maybe the takeoff was delayed because of some technical reason. You have to accept it. Because of the natural nature problem, the landing issue was there, or there was some technical issue at the landing airport. We have to accept it.
So if it comes to
Then I would suggest if the person doesn't want to, what do you call, want to understand the external forces, he should have his input. It's not, if you see what is called as just in time by the Toyota, what we have been like, it is Toyota's just in time. His vendors are maintaining the inventory. It is not Toyota maintaining the inventory. So inventory has to be maintained by someone, then only the just in time will happen.
So which are the steps involved to meet the end consumer, like to reach for the end? What are the steps involved in process to reach the end consumer?
End consumer, the final who consumes. In case of food industry, you want to say the person who eats that food.
So in that the delivery, what you deliver, so to reach for the end one, to reach it, like what are the steps involved in it?
What are the means of transport?
If you take an example of e-commerce,
Yes, sir.
comes from the air or by road to the city hub. From there, a man goes and delivers to the end user. Or if you go to a retail shop, the wholesaler will supply it to the retailer, and from retailer, the person who wants to consume will come to the retail shop. If you go back from the wholesaler, it is the C&F agent who stocks it. C&F agent go back is a manufacturer.
Sir, do you have any technology to track the delivery?
Yes, at the internet. Internet.
Is there any software?
No, right now Flomic doesn't have any tracking system.
Okay.
We are developing it. Maybe in another few years it will go, because we are still, the technology we are still behind.
But
We are dependent on the third party tracking.
okay. So, sir, how to track a driver's
Drivers and all, it is GPS. The GPS installed vehicles are there.
Yeah.
So that basis, see, it is a third party vehicles we use.
Hmm.
So we don't demand for GPS.
Okay.
If GPS is not there, the other technique is your toll nakas.
Yes.
Okay, from the toll naka we come to know. And for the containers now, if there is a like one software installed by the Indian government, it is only to the port, nearby to the port, the containers get tracked on the road also. As soon as those containers are crosses the toll naka, tracking can be done.
Sir, is there any case of theft during transportation?
Yeah, there are.
So how?
There are thefts has happened.
It was
It
not
is
in the-
drivers, those who park in the dhaba, or some undisclosed locations, if they go, that's happened.
So, as the sir, you said trucking is from third party person. So, is it sustainable for you? Like, is it efficient and effective for the
Yes.
company?
Yes.
Like,
For the last 35 years, we have been using third party vehicles.
So, what do you think in future it will be like? Will be sustainable?
No, we are just, see, we don't want to enter into the transport division
Okay.
right now, because it's one area where it is very unorganized. Lot of pilferages are happening in terms of financial. We cannot control the drivers. They are unskilled drivers, unprofessional. Okay, so we cannot do anything. So that is the one area where we don't want to right now enter. Maybe in a year's time or 2-3 years we can think of.
So there might be still there will be a delay in delivery, no sir?
No,
No sir.
no. See what commitment, what requirement is there from our customer.
Yes.
We ensure that our transporter meets them, or we just tell them, okay, like, sir, this is a situation. We want a delivery at this place. Can you do? Okay. If the if the transporter says yes, we take additional 2 hours. We know we have to buy certain time.
So like in
Or else, if they want very urgently, I would suggest why can't you move it through air? Then Belagavi airport, from Melbourne airport, any one of my team member would like to go collect it and will take it.
like in the hub sir, how sorting is done? It is done on the pin codes or it is done on the next day delivery or how?
Both,
Both. Sir.
both.
Okay, sir. As a logistic manager, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Rules is to ensure whatever the management has committed to its final customer to make the delivery, I have to fulfill. Okay. It is not that the delivery, even if the raw material has to come on time, have to ensure if there is any production delay, so the next mile delivery what is there, have to ensure to cover up the delays in the manufacturing. So that is my main motive, to ensure the goods deliver at the right time, at the right place, right quantity, in a correct manner. Thank you.